In this tutorial, I'm going to solve question number 11. Question number 11, paper 22, May 2022. Let's start question number 11. We have a function f, given by f of x is equal to 4x, 4 cosine power 4x plus cosine squared minus k. Where is x between 0 and 2 pi? Where is k is constant? Given that k is equal to 3. Find the exact solution for f of x is equal to 0. 4 cosine to the power of 4x plus cosine squared x minus 3 is equal to 0. First, solve the quadratic equation. It's not a quadratic equation, it's a complex quadratic equation. It's a quadratic equation, power 4, but it's written as a quadratic equation. You can use u method. You can write cosine squared as u and cosine power 4 as u squared. And your equation will be like this now. 4u squared plus u minus 3 equal to 0. And use your factorization method or quadratic formula. You can use your calculator for help how to factorize by using the mod 5-3 and get the two factors. The first factor will be 4u minus 3, and the second factor will be u plus 1. You can use quadratic formula. You can write your answer without writing u. You can keep u as cosine squared and write it like this: cosine squared x and cosine squared x. Cosine squared x. This is the solving equation. If you have two factors, their product is equal to 0. So the first factor for cosine to the power of 2x minus 3 is equal to 0. So cosine squared x is equal to 3 over 4 by taking the square root for both sides. So the answer is positive or negative root 3 over 4. So we have two solutions. If cosine squared x plus 1 is equal to 0, so cosine squared x is equal to minus 1. For the real number, there is no root for a number negative. So no real solution for this equation. Let us start now with cosine x is equal to root 3. If write it, cosine x is equal root 3 over 2, and cosine x is equal negative root 3 over 2. To get the principal angle, shift cosine to get angle x. Cosine minus 1 root 3 over 2, you can get the value of x. Without looking at the range, if you get the value of x, you will get it 30 degrees. If you write it in degrees, but cosine positive in the question, cosine positive, so we have two cases, cosine positive first quadrant and fourth quadrant. In first quadrant, 30 degrees. Fourth quadrant will be 360 minus 30, so the answer is 330. If it is negative, so cosine negative in which quadrant? Second and third. Second, 180 minus 30, which is 150, and 180 plus 30, so the answer is 210. You have to look at the range of x. The range of x given from 0 to 2 pi means from 0 to 360. We found all the solution from 0 to 360, but the problem is the range given in rad, so you have to write your answer in rad. If you get it in degrees without looking at the range and found all the answer in terms of degrees, so please again convert all degrees answer to be in rad. Just write 30 pi over 180 and simplify. 330 times pi over 180 simplify. 150 pi over 180 simplify. 210 pi over 180 simplify. Or from the beginning, when you use shift cosine by using the red system, your answer directly will be pi over 3. If it is pi over 6, then instead of writing 360 minus, write 2 pi minus. Instead of writing 180 minus, write pi minus. Then you can get your answer in red. The first solution is pi over 6 and 5 pi over 6, 7 pi over 6, not by the same order, and 11 pi over 6. This is the final answer written in red. Use the quadratic formula. When it's written, use the quadratic formula means negative b plus or minus square root of b square minus 4ac all divided by 2a. When k is equal to 5, the equation f of x is equal to 0 has no solution. First, I will write the equation. The equation is 4 cosine power 4. The equation is 4 cosine to the power of 4x plus cosine squared x plus cosine squared x minus k is equal to 0. Is it correct? Cosine squared x minus k is equal to 0. Okay. Now, it's written, use the equation f of x is equal to 0. Has no solution means the root under the root will be negative. But it's not written by using the discriminant because this is a quadratic equation, But you can solve it as a quadratic. But instead of getting cosine, if I give you solving equation in terms of x squared, so your solution will be x. So if it is x to the power of 4, your solution will be u to the x power of 2. If it is included cosine, so your solution will be cosine squared x is equal to. If your equation quadratic, ax squared plus bx plus c, when you use the quadratic formula, you will get x. But if it is included x to the power of 4, let's say written the equation ax to the power of 4 plus bx to the power of 2 plus c is equal to 0. When you use the quadratic formula, you will not get x. You will get x to the power of 2. So exactly same. This equation quadratic included cosine to the power of 4 and the cosine power of 2. So when you use the quadratic form and you solve it, you will get cosine squared x. Now continue, cosine squared x is equal negative b, so negative 1 plus or minus square root of b squared will be 1 minus 4a, which is 4, 4ac, which is k. Sorry, it's a minus k. Divided by 2a, which is 2 times 4. Simplify, cosine squared x is equal to negative 1 plus or minus square root of 1 plus 16k, all divided by 8. So we have two solutions. Maybe cosine squared x is equal minus 1 minus square root of 1 plus 16k, all divided by 8. Or cosine squared x is equal minus 1 plus square root of 1 plus 16k, all divided by 8. The first solution rejected. There is no solution because of what? The numerator will be negative, and this is cosine squared. So for this equation, no real solution. Like, what about this equation? This is the solution in terms of k. I don't know about k, but now let us start to read this part. When k more than 5, there is no solution. When k more than 5. Let's start if k is 5. If k is 5, you will get cosine squared x is equal to, remove k and write 5. 5 times 16 is 80. 80 plus 1 is 81. Square root of 81 is 9. So minus 1 plus 9 divided by 8. So cosine squared x is equal to 1. Cosine x squared is equal to 1. By taking a square root for both sides will be positive or negative 1. So we have solution. If you remember graph of cosine, like this. So cosine x is 1 at 0 and 360, 0 and 2 pi, and will be at negative 1 at pi. This is the solution for this equation. In case if k is 5, we have a solution. What about in case if k more than 5? If k more than 5, this part will be more than 80. So square root will be more than 9. So the final answer of cosine squared x will be more than 1. And we have a range for cosine. Cosine x between negative 1 and positive 1. And cosine squared x between 0 and 1. We can write equal in both. So the range of cosine squared x between 0 and 1. But if k more than 5, so the value of cosine squared x will be more than 1. So cosine x more than 1 will be no solution for this equation. This is why it's written, show that when k more than 5, show that there is no solution. So just write when k more than 1, so the numerator more than 8, so the final answer more than 1. The range of cosine squared between 0 and 1. So if it is more, there is no solution for this part. Thank you.